Welcome to Behind the Money, the show where we talk about some of the most interesting public companies and people. I'm your host, Morris Willie. In today's video, we're going to be talking about ILUS. I want to go over what I took away from their quarterly earnings and what you should look at. While watching Behind the Money, remember, this isn't financial advice and shouldn't be taken as financial advice. This is only for entertainment purposes only. Now, back to the video. To start with, net revenue. Net revenue came in at $24.1 million with a gross profit of $8.6 million. Now, gross profit is nice, but if you go a little bit deeper into the earnings, you'll see that you have net profit, obviously, and net profit came in at $472,000. Not that impressive when you look at it, especially compared to the quarter last year when ILUS had a net profit of $1.1 million. But over the past 9 months, they have a net profit of $2.3 million, which I guess isn't too bad. Something else I looked at was their EPS. Now, don't get me wrong, you shouldn't be surprised by what I'm about to say, but with the stock only at a penny, their basic EPS and diluted EPS were both at 0. So I did some math, and what I came up with was interesting, and looking at the numbers, it's a bit interesting too. Looking at the basic EPS, you have the weighted average shares outstanding, which is at 1.5 billion shares. Definitely a lot of shares, but that doesn't compare to the diluted EPS, which accounts for ILUS's Class A, B, D, and F preferred stock, which comes up to 32.1 billion shares. And actually, this isn't even accounting for the extra billion in weighted average shares outstanding. But as you'd expect, the net income for shareholders was $472,000, like I said earlier. So you also have an EPS diluted of $0.00 for both of them. But I did some math, and for the basic EPS, you have an EPS of 0003, which technically speaking, as it is sitting at a penny, I guess it's not bad. And especially when you have stocks that are at 0003 or lower. So I guess technically not bad. And the company is profitable. But diluted EPS, you have quadruple 01. So I guess it just puts into perspective how small the profit for the quarter was, but furthermore, the magnitude of shares that ILUS has at 32 billion shares. That's a massive number. Obviously though. But now let's look at some other numbers here. You have a GAAP PE ratio right now of 84, massive. But you have a price to book ratio right now of 0.5, which isn't bad. You have an enterprise value to sales of 1.06 and an enterprise value to EBITDA of 7. If you want to watch the stories behind some of the most interesting public companies and people, be like Mrs. Northington. Tune into Behind the Money. And don't forget to subscribe. Now, where ILUS looks undervalued, massively undervalued at this point, is they have a market cap of $17 million, but total current assets of $155 million, total assets of $267 million. Now, to draw back on that, they have total liabilities of $201 million, total current liabilities of $162 million, and cash equivalents, and restricted cash of $1.5 million. All great to see here. And even going back real quick to assets and liabilities, you currently have total shareholder equity of $65 million. Now, again, they have over $200 million in liabilities right now, but assuming that they pay that down and pay it off, and again, this is to be expected as ILUS is an acquisition company, and obviously you have to take on debt to acquire companies. But even at total shareholder equity of $65 million and a market cap of $17 million, you're looking at a steal going off the numbers here. Now, I want to know your thoughts. What do you think of ILUS? I know that this video is way late, but I had to go through the earnings. I wanted to sit and digest them, and pick apart what I said. Am I getting the numbers wrong? Do you think I'm valuing the company wrong? Or is it truly an undervalued company right now? Because while yes, net profit came in at pretty much under $500,000, which is somewhat laughable, the company is technically turning a profit, and at 1 cent per share, this might be an excellent opportunity to get into ILUS. Now, obviously, not financial advice, but again, just sharing my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on ILUS down below, and thank you for watching Behind the Money.